The dosimeter badge clipped to your breast pocket weighs almost nothing. 4 grams? Maybe 5. You've worn it every shift for 3 years, and you've never once thought about it. That ends tonight. It is 1:23 in the morning on April 26, 1986. You are 29 years old. You have a wife named Lena. You have a son who is 3.5 and cannot yet say the letter R. You have just eaten half a sandwich from the canteen, egg and pickled cucumber, because the second half you wrapped in paper to bring home for breakfast. You are, in every way that matters, nobody, and history is about to use you like a tool. You are a reactor operator at Unit 4 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and you have worked this control room so many times that you can read the dials without looking directly at them. You know the sound of every valve, every pump, every breath the reactor takes. You know this building the way you know your own apartment. The cold spot near the east corridor, the fluorescent light above panel 12 that flickers before it steadies. You know all of it. And here's the thing. That knowledge is precisely what makes tonight so dangerous. Not because you don't know enough, because you know just enough to trust the wrong thing. At 1:23:44, reactor number 4 explodes. Not the way you imagine an explosion, not a movie sound, a pressure wave first, a physical concussion through the soles of your feet, through your knees, through the base of your spine. Then the sound arrives, a sound you have never heard and will never hear described accurately by anyone who wasn't standing where you're standing. It is not a bang. It is a removal, as if something has been subtracted from the world. The lights go out. The emergency lights come on, orange and thin. A piece of ceiling tile falls onto the panel in front of you. Dust. Silence for 3 seconds. Then someone is screaming in Ukrainian from the corridor. You touch the dosimeter badge. You don't know why. Your hand just goes there. It's still clipped to your pocket, still warm from your body, still light as nothing. You hold it for 2 seconds, maybe 3, and then you let go and move toward the corridor, because that is what you do, because the training says assess and report, and your body obeys the training before your mind catches up. His name is Leonid. He is 53 years old and has been working nuclear since before you were born. Since the dosimeters were worse, since the protocols were written on paper by men who were guessing, he is the shift foreman on duty tonight. He has a mustache going gray and hands that are always slightly dry, skin peeling at the knuckles, and when he talks to you, it is always like he's telling you something slightly inconvenient about yourself that he assumes you already know but needed reminding of. He finds you in the East Corridor at 1:31 a.m. You are moving toward the reactor hall. He grabs your arm and his grip is specific. Not panicked, not theatrical, just present. Don't go in there, he says. We need to assess. I've assessed. He doesn't let go. The core is open. You don't understand what he means yet. You will understand it in about 6 hours, when the skin of your right hand begins to feel like it has been submerged too long in hot water. But right now, you understand it abstractly, the way you understand death, as a fact that applies to other people until it applies to you. The roof of the reactor hall is gone, he says. The graphite is on the ground outside. The fuel is on the ground outside. He says this without raising his voice. You need to understand what I'm saying. And here's the thing. You don't entirely. Not yet. Because the dosimeter in your pocket is the plant's standard issue film badge. And what most people who tell this story don't know is that those badges had a maximum measurable reading of approximately 3.6 Roentgen. Most of them simply maxed out in the first minutes and stopped telling the truth. The high-range instruments were locked in the safety officer's cabinet. The safety officer was not on site. The instruments available in the control room told you that the radiation level was survivable. What they were actually measuring was the radiation in the hallway, not the open sky above Unit 4, the hallway. You looked at a lie and called it data. Leonid knew this. He'd seen instruments fail, and humans trust them anyway because the alternative is to trust nothing. And that is a kind of madness most people can't sustain. Don't trust the equipment tonight, he tells you. Trust what you can see. Trust what your body tells you. If you feel the metal taste, you know what the metal taste is? You know. Ionizing radiation at high enough doses produces a taste of copper, of old coins, of the inside of a gun barrel. It's the nerves misfiring in the back of the throat. It means you've already absorbed something. If you taste it, Leonid says, you've been there too long. You don't go back. He puts something in your hand. A small pin. Soviet issue, the kind they gave out for years of service. A red enamel star on a copper backing, his 10-year pin. Carry something worth coming back for, he says. It sounds like the most ordinary thing anyone has ever said to you. Later, you will understand it was a lesson, the only one that mattered, and that he already knew he was not coming back himself. By 3 a.m., the firefighters have arrived. You will learn years later that the first crews called to Chernobyl were told they were responding to a conventional roof fire, an electrical fire. They were not told about the reactor. Some of them worked without respirators. Some of them touched the graphite fragments on the ground with their bare hands because graphite looks like black rock, and they were not told it was reactor core material, and their dosimeters, if they had them, were the same useless film badges reading 3.6 and stopping. You watch one of them, a young man, maybe 22, pick up a fragment near the turbine hall entrance and hold it, examining it. You want to shout. You open your mouth. And then you think, if you shout, you are confirming what you already suspect, which is that the situation is beyond the protocols, beyond the training, beyond the vocabulary you've been given. And if you do that, you have to do something about it, and you don't know what to do about it. So you say nothing. He drops the fragment. He walks away. You tell yourself he'll be fine. You touch the pin in your pocket. The enamel is smooth, slightly cool. Carry something worth coming back for? You press it between your fingers and walk back toward the control room, because that is the only direction that feels like it has a procedure attached to it, and procedures are all you have left. The moment you will not be able to stop thinking about, not that day, not that year, not ever, happens at approximately 4:15 in the morning. There is a younger operator. His name is not important for this story, but his face is round, earnest, the kind of face that still asks questions in briefings without worrying whether the questions make him look stupid. He is 24 years old. He has been awake for 18 hours. He comes to you and asks if he should go to the reactor building to check the water level in the emergency cooling system. It is, technically, within his assigned duties. The training says, if the emergency cooling system is compromised, someone must verify manually. The training was written for a reactor that still exists. You know what is in that building. You know what Leonid told you. You know about the graphite on the ground and the open sky where the roof was. You know that if this young man walks into the reactor building to check the water level, he will absorb, in the time it takes to read a gauge and walk back out, more radiation than the human body can process. You also know that you are not his supervisor. The official situation report has not been updated. The plant director is en route, but has not arrived. No one in the chain of command has yet officially characterized this event as what it is. And because no one has said the real word, not accident, not incident, but the word that means the reactor core is destroyed and the fuel is burning in open air, there is a strange, terrible bureaucratic ambiguity in which the normal procedures technically still apply. He is looking at you. He is waiting for you to tell him what to do. You reach into your pocket, the pin. You hold it for a moment, the enamel star, the copper backing, the slight roughness at the edge where the clasp meets the base. It does not tell you anything. It is just a small object a man gave you because he was trying to say something that Soviet vocabulary didn't have a word for. Something about the reason you show up. Something about what the showing up is for. Don't go, you say. He looks surprised. But the protocol, I know the protocol. You say it more quietly than you intend. Don't go. He doesn't go. He looks uncertain, slightly offended, the way people look when authority is exercised without explanation. He goes back to his station. You have just done something with no official category, overridden a procedure without authorization, based on knowledge received informally during a crisis that has not yet been officially named. You don't know if it will matter. You only know what Leonid told you and what you saw and what your body is starting to tell you slowly at the back of your throat. A faint copper taste, like old coins. You swallow. You turn back to the panel. Leonid dies 11 days later in a Moscow hospital of acute radiation syndrome. He is one of 28 plant workers and firefighters who die in the weeks following the explosion. You don't find this out until later. The Soviets don't announce it in 1986. Not the full numbers, not the names. You find out piece by piece, the way you find out most true things in the USSR, through rumors and silences and the specific quality of grief that appears on people's faces when they say a name. You survive. Your dosimeter read 3.6. Your real dose, calculated later by researchers, was somewhere between 150 and 200 millisieverts, high, above the annual occupational limit, not immediately fatal. You develop a thyroid condition at 41. Your hands are sometimes wrong, the skin doing things it shouldn't. You tell your son, when he is old enough, that you worked at a power plant. You do not elaborate. They build a sarcophagus over Unit 4. 60,000 workers, the liquidators, come from all over the Soviet Union to contain the site, most of them given no accurate information about what they are being exposed to. Many of them are dead now. Many of them were told the doses they received were safe. You know what the instruments could measure. You know what they couldn't. Pripyat, 50,000 people, a city of young families. A city with a fairground that opened on April 27th because no evacuation order had come yet, and someone decided the rides should run as scheduled, is evacuated 36 hours after the explosion. The residents are told to bring enough for 2 or 3 days. They are told they will return. None of them return. The Ferris wheel stands. You think about the sandwich half you wrapped for breakfast. The way you folded the edges, put it in your bag. You came home to an empty apartment. Lena and your son had already been evacuated, and the sandwich sat in your bag for 2 days before you thought to throw it away. When you took it out, it was still wrapped carefully, the edges still folded, and it looked so precisely like a thing from before that you stood in the kitchen of that borrowed apartment for a long time doing nothing at all. The dosimeter badge, you still have it, somewhere in a drawer. It never told you the truth. It maxed out at 3.6 and stopped. But you kept it anyway, because throwing it away felt like a lie of a different kind. Not the dose. The fact of being there, wearing it, trusting it, touching it, while the world changed and the needle didn't move. Leonid's pin you keep on your desk. The enamel has a small chip at the bottom edge now, from being dropped on a tile floor in 1991. The copper has gone slightly green at the clasp. It is still in every way that matters an ordinary thing, a pin given out to workers for years of service. Most of them are in boxes, or lost, or thrown away. This one sat in the pocket of a man who walked into a burning reactor and decided, without authorization, without protocol, without an entry in any official log, that survival was something that required a reason. Carry something worth coming back for. You've been back from Chernobyl for 38 years. Your son has 2 children of his own now. He still can't say the letter R correctly. It became a thing the family jokes about, a softness that passed through the years without being corrected. You are 67 years old. Your hands are sometimes wrong. And here is what I need you to tell me. What I have been sitting with since the night I first read the real testimony, the archived files, the accounts of the operators who were on shift at 1:23 a.m. and survived. You didn't tell that young operator why he shouldn't go. You just said don't. You exercised an authority you didn't technically have, based on knowledge received informally and a taste in the back of your throat that couldn't be written in any log. You saved him, maybe. Or maybe the readings had changed and he would have been fine, and you only convinced yourself you saved him. The badge sits in a drawer. It reads 3.6. The needle didn't move. If this stayed with you, you know what to do. And tell me in the comments, when the instruments are telling you what you want to hear, and someone you trust is telling you something different, which one do you believe, and what does it cost you to choose? Join the journey by hitting that subscribe button. Your support means the world to me.